Hey there, this is Leanne Brunell from Leanne Brunell Coaching, and today I want to talk about how to deal with everyday triggers using tapping. Now, if you're totally new to tapping, I invite you to check out my intro to tapping video that I'm going to link in the comment section down below. Now, there's maybe a few different ideas about what triggers are, so I'm going to define what I mean by that. For starters, I'm not talking about PTSD or triggers stemming from big traumas. For those, I invite you to work with myself or another trained professional so that you can get the necessary help around that. So today when I talk about triggers, what I'm talking about is when you have a very strong emotional reaction to someone's behavior. Though your ego is bound to blame this strong reaction on the way that person involved behaved, 99.9% of the time, the reason you're reacting the way you are is because it reminds the subconscious part of your brain of something that happened to you when you were young that was never properly addressed or healed at that time. So in today's tapping video, we're going to look at some recent event that you had a strong negative emotional reaction to. We're going to go back in time, we're going to heal that original wound, and then see if the charge around that current triggering event has gone down. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't remember anything relevant from your past. Let your mind make up a story. You're going to get the healing that you need just as well from an imaginary event as a real one, because your brain cannot tell the difference between the two. I'm going to walk you through how to do all that in a moment, but before then, I'm just going to give you an example from my life so you know sort of how it's going to look and what to expect. As some of you maybe know, I'm a fairly serious environmentalist, and one of the ways I try and look after the planet is to divert all of our household waste from the landfill as much as humanly possible. Now this means I have various receptacles of recycling, etc. around our house and our garage, and my husband doesn't quite see things the way that I do. Plus, he doesn't like clutter, so sometimes he takes it upon himself to dispose of these things that I've been collecting to recycle or to give away. And when he does that, it makes me ridiculously angry, like a 12 out of 10 angry. Now, I have enough self-awareness now to realize that this really strong emotional reaction I have is because it's triggering something unresolved from my past. So what I had to do was go back in time and heal that old wound. Again, I'm going to walk you through how to do that in a moment. But what I did is I went back to age 3 and my mind painted me a picture of that I had found this beautiful rock or stick or something that I just absolutely adored and cherished, and it was like the most special thing to me ever. And then I noticed one day that my parents had thrown it away. So then what I needed to do is I tapped through feelings of being treated disrespectfully, feeling like I didn't matter, and that my parents didn't care about what was important to me. And once I was finished tapping through all of that and releasing those emotions, I could come back and look at this current situation with my husband and only feel like a mild annoyance, maybe like a 1 out of 10. So now that you know what to expect, let's try it out. Now, if you haven't already come up with a recent triggering event, I'd like you to think about something that happened in the recent past where someone made you feel super hurt or super angry, something that's like a 7 out of 10 or higher. And once you have your event, I want you to note what that feeling is and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Now what I'd like you to do is close your eyes and really picture that event just like it was happening right now. Start tapping on the side of your hand. really feeling all of that hurt or all of that anger in your body, and ask yourself, what age did I first feel this way? And just go with whatever number pops into your head first. I'd like you to imagine yourself at that age, walk over to them, step inside their body, and look around to see what's going on. Again, even if you think you're making it all up. And just spend a moment there to really take in what's going on. Just start tapping through the points. Odds are you're seeing someone who has hurt you or treated you unfairly. Keep tapping, and I'd like you to confront that person and tell them exactly how their behavior made you feel at that moment, and maybe how that has continued to negatively impact you to this day. Now, if that feels unsafe to do, you can freeze the scene so that person cannot move or speak, but they can still hear you. Remember, the more you can lean into your emotions here, the more release you're going to get. Feel free to yell at them, tell them how unfairly they treated you, and if it feels good to get the energy out physically, you can even hit a pillow while you're yelling at them. Or if you feel the need to cry, then cry. Release all of those uncried tears as you tell them all the pain and the suffering that they caused you. I'm going to be quiet for a minute or two, but keep going and keep tapping. Now, if there's still some really strong emotions up for you, I'd like you to hit pause on this video and just keep going until it starts feeling more neutral for you. But otherwise, keeping your eyes closed and still tapping through the points, I'd like you to imagine a wise, caring, compassionate being stepping into the space with your younger self. Maybe it's present day you, maybe a loving grandparent, or even a spiritual figure like an angel or Jesus or Kuan Yin. Imagine this loving being walking over to your younger self and giving them a big hug. Then I want you to imagine them saying all the things that your younger self needs to hear at that moment. Maybe things like, "This wasn't your fault," or "You didn't deserve to be treated like that. You are so infinitely deserving of love and respect," Or even, I am so sorry that you had to go through that. Have them say anything else that your younger self needs to hear, and I'll be quiet for a moment. When they have said all the things that your younger self needs to hear in order to feel safe and loved, have them give your younger self another hug and remind you of how much that you're loved and that they're always there for you when you need them. And just take a moment now to really take in those feelings of unconditional love and caring and safety. And when you're ready, stop tapping. Take a deep breath. And you can open your eyes. Now, just for fun, let's go back and look at that recent triggering event and tune into the same emotion that you were feeling earlier and rate that again on a scale of 1 to 10 to see if we were able to bring that down a little bit. Now, if this event was something that was pretty big for you, or maybe like a reoccurring theme for you, you may need to go through this a few more times. You'll likely find that different ages and different scenarios come up each time you do that, and just keep tapping through each one of those until that present day trigger feels more manageable. So thank you for tapping with me today. I hope you found that helpful. I'm really curious to hear how that experience was for you. So please share with me in the comments how that was. And if you found it helpful, feel free to share. Bye for now.